Hi, I'm Corey Contanga. I'm a senior in the School of Foreign Service as well. I'm majoring in international economics. And we talked a lot, you equated the charter to the golden rule a lot, so I want to push the envelope on that. Having the charter, having a passion be equated to the golden rule makes me very uncomfortable, because the golden rule to me is arbitrary. It says treat others as you would treat yourself. We treat ourselves differently. As I would treat myself, maybe not be the way that you want to be treated. So for me, I see the golden rule as a moral rule of thumb. But compassion isn't a rule of thumb. Compassion is a moral standard. It's as if Jesus said, he said, there is in the Bible where he says, treat others as you like to be treated, but he also says, love others as I have loved you. That is compassion. Compassion is a moral standard. So I would just like to know, how would you reconcile what I see is sort of this tension? Because I think that using the golden rule is very useful for practical purposes to convey what we mean by compassion. But I think compassion is much deeper than that. And I fear that we could really lose what compassion is.
Okay, I see what you're saying. First of all, it's not me that has equated compassion with the golden rule. It's other prophets.
Other prophets.
of yore who have done this, from Confucius to Hillel, the Prophet Muhammad. This has surfaced. So that has been... I think you see the golden rule as the way in. But, if you are doing this all day and every day, I think it's not just a rule of thumb, because every single moment of the day requires a different creative solution. Now, I'm a little nervous of the word love, because I think I know it's very much used in the Christian tradition. When Jesus says, love your enemies, he's doing a little bit of midrash on Leviticus. When Leviticus says, love the stranger, love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus takes it further and says, love your enemies. Now, love in Leviticus does not mean emotional affection. It was a legal term. And Leviticus is a legal text. It was used in international treaties where two kings would promise to love each other, which meant they looked out for each other, took on each other's burdens, were loyal to each other, came to each other's aid in practical ways. This is a start-off. I think if you raise the bar too high and say you've got to love others as I have loved you, I think... the word is so misused in our culture. Especially if we're a bit buttoned up in the UK, here everyone's always saying "love you" at the end of a conversation on the phone or something, and really they hardly know you, and all you need is love, etc. Well. Again, I think that whole business about love carries so much are we supposed to love Osama bin Laden? In that sense, it's probably, and it raises the bar so high that we just throw our hands up in despair. So you start off, I think, in a so that's the only reason why I'm sort of wary of love. And I always found it really distressing in my sort of Catholic years because I found I was being asked to love God, and I couldn't. I was expecting to feel for God what I was feeling for my parents, or say the cat even, and this was hard. But I think we have to start off with the golden rule. If you do it all day and every day, just putting yourself imaginatively into somebody else's shoes, it means you have to see them. You have to see them where they are standing, and put yourself right there And that demands huge emotional intelligence. It demands a trip from your self-centered preoccupation into their position. It demands, it's not just a rule of thumb, because each moment, each encounter will be different. Each situation will be different, whether you do this in public or in private life. And I think the greater sages than I, people like Confucius, brought that out because it's a way in. And once you've started on the way in, you discover the difficulties and the richness of it. So I think, too, it's helpful to have both versions of the Golden Rule. Do to others. If people just do to others, there can be a lot of do-gooders around who endlessly imposing what they'd like to see on other people. And sometimes it says, do not do to others, to hold back sometimes. It may not be the question to rush in and bring people democracy or something at a given moment of history. So it's a difficult thing, the Golden Rule, rather than, I would say, than a rule of thumb. But it was a good question. Thank you.